I, Dr. Surbhi Mathur, Assistant Professor, Department of EFM, Kanoria PG Mahila Mahavidyalaya, welcome to the all BCom Part 2 students. In my previous videos, I discussed with you about dividend policy. In dividend policy topic, I discussed with you about meaning of dividend, dividend decisions and dividend policy, some essential elements of a sound dividend policy, different types of dividend policy and some factors are affecting dividend policies. Today I will be discussing with you about dividend models. हम लोग जानते हैं कि फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट का मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है शेयर होल्डर्स की वेल्थ को मैक्सिमाइज करना because dividend policy is a part of financial management और उसका मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. While taking any dividend decisions, the management should keep in view the effect of this decision on the wealth of the shareholders. If the payment of dividend is helpful in achieving the objective of a firm, it should be paid. Otherwise, the profit should be retained in the business for financing investment programs. और जो dividend decisions हैं, it is based on some facts and there are various models have been involved to evaluate the dividend policy decisions in relation to find out the value of the firm. There are lots of model which is given by the different persons. There is one school of thought which was associated with Walter and Jordan. They both gave some opinion regarding the calculation of the value of the firm. They stated that the dividend payment affect the market value of the shares and as a result the dividend policy is relevant for the overall value of the firm. On the other hand, stated that the dividend decision is irrelevant and it does not in any way affect the market value of shares as investors are basically indifferent to returns in the form of dividends or capital gains. वन स्कूल ऑफ थॉट में जो फर्स्ट मॉडल है वो दिया था वॉल्टर ने उनका पूरा नाम है वॉल्टर जे.ई. He represented the model with the name of Walter model in the year 1963 to explain the relevance of dividend policy for the valuation of shares or maximization of the wealth of the shareholders. According to Walter, the dividend policy of a firm is based on the relationship between the internal rate of return, which represented by R, earned by it, and the cost of capital or required rate of return, which shows by KE. Walter के इस मॉडल में कुछ assumptions assume किए गए हैं. First assumption है the internal rate of return and the cost of capital are constant. Next is all new investment opportunities of the firm are to be financed through retained earning only, and there will be no external finance is available to the firm. And the third assumption is that the firm has an infinite life. According to the Walter model, the investment decisions and dividend decisions of a firm are interrelated. एक firm dividend pay करती है या नहीं करती है, it totally depends upon whether it has got enough profitable investment opportunities to invest the return earning or not. Dividend per share and market price per share को कैलकुलेट करने के लिए वॉल्टर ने एक फॉर्मूला दिया है जिसके थ्रू मार्केट प्राइस पर शेयर कैलकुलेट की जाती है, which is on this slide. If we are using this formula, तो we can calculate the market price per share. Next model, which is Jordan model. Jordan argues that an investor values current dividends more highly than expected future dividends, and he has also proposed a dividend model that the dividend policy of the company has a direct bearing on the market value of shares. जैसे कि वॉल्टर ने के मॉडल के कुछ assumptions थे, वैसे ही जॉर्डन मॉडल के भी कुछ assumption है, and it is like similar to the Walter model. First assumption is that the internal rate of return and the cost of capital of the firm remains constant. Next is the firm operates its investment activities only through equity. Next one is there does not exist corporate taxes. Fourth one is the retention ratio once decided is constant forever. And the last is the firm has infinite life. So according to that, market value of a share is equal to the present value of its expected future dividends, or it can be calculated by this formula which is on this slide. We can calculate the market price per share through this formula, and Gordon model also says that the dividend policy of the firm is dependent on the availability of profitable investment opportunities and the relationship between the firm's cost of capital and the internal rate of return. Next model is MM model. इस मॉडल को MM मॉडल भी बोला जाता है. MM says that dividend decisions and retained earning decisions do not influence the market value of the shares. और इन्होंने ये बोला है कि dividend policy is irrelevant for the valuation of market price of a share. According to MM's observations, under the conditions of perfect capital market, rational investors, absence of tax, discrimination between dividend income, and capital appreciation, given the firm's investment policy, its dividend policy may have no influence on the market price of the share. डिविडेंड पॉलिसी का मार्केट प्राइस ऑफ शेयर के ऊपर कोई इफेक्ट नहीं होता है, ये बोला है एमएम ने। जैसे वॉल्टर और जॉर्डन के कुछ अजम्पशंस थे, वैसे ही एमएम मॉडल के थ्रू भी एमएम ने कुछ अजम्पशंस दिए हैं। फर्स्ट इज देयर exists a perfect capital market. Perfect capital market is there. There are no flotation or transaction cost. Next is there are no taxes. And the last is future earnings are known with certainty. जो फ्यूचर अर्निंग्स है वो पहले से ही सर्टेनिटी के बेसिस पे डिफाइन की जाती है। MM approach stated that the impact of dividend policy is offset totally by other means of financing. वो ये भी बोलते हैं firms retains the entire earnings, कि एक फर्म की जो entire earning है, profit है, without giving any dividend, the shareholders' stock would have appreciated equal to the amount of retained earning. And if the firm pays the entire earnings as dividend to its shareholders, they would have enjoyed the same appreciation as they could get in retained earning. उसके लिए MM मॉडल के थ्रू एक फॉर्मूला उन्होंने बताया है। उस फॉर्मूले के थ्रू market price of the share at the beginning of the period कैलकुलेट की जा सकती है। उन्होंने दो फॉर्मूलाज दिए हैं, एक ऑल्टरनेटिव फॉर्मूला भी दिया है। उसमें अज्यूम किया गया है कि द फुलफिलमेंट ऑफ डिजायर्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट ड्यू टू डिविडेंड डिक्लेरेशन इज बीइंग डन बाय इशूइंग ऑफ न्यू शेयर। अगर न्यू शेयर इशू किए जाएंगे तो ही जो डिजायर्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट फुलफिल की जा सकती है। तो दिस वाज ऑल अबाउट डिफरेंट मॉडल्स which is given by Jordan, Walter and MM. उन्होंने अपनी अपनी थॉट्स के अकॉर्डिंग, अपनी अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग एंड उन्होंने मार्केट प्राइस पर शेयर को कैलकुलेट करने के कुछ अपने फॉर्मूलाज बताए हैं जिसके थ्रू मार्केट प्राइस पर शेयर कैलकुलेट की जा सकती है। So this was all about different models of dividend policy. In the conclusion form, I discussed with you about dividend policy. In dividend policy, I discussed with you about dividend policy, dividend decisions, different types of dividend policies, some factors which are affecting dividend policy, some models to calculate market price per share, which I discussed with my all three videos. Thank you so much.